Today, we are going fishing and will be looking for wild freshwater red baby snakehead fish. This will be our second time going out fishing this monsoon season. Any other year, the floodwaters would have arrived 2.5 months ago. This year, however, things were very different. Not only did the floodwater arrive 1.5 months late, but it only rose to 50% of its usual height, and within a month of arriving, it went back down to around 25% of its usual level. And because every year the new fish travel and arrive with the floodwaters, this year there are next to no fish. The local fishermen tell me only 10 or 15% of the usual amount of fish have arrived this year. Normally, over 50% of the villagers will fish throughout the monsoon season, so as a result of such low flood waters, around 30% of the villagers have went to work in large towns. Most of them will be labouring for building and construction companies. Just about when I was starting to accept that fishing season may be off this year, we had a slight turn of events last week. You see, in the last week, the true nature of monsoon season kicked in, bringing 7 days of dark-skied rainy weather. This constant downfall of rain resulted in the water rising back up to 50% of its usual height, with all signs suggesting the floodwater may fully arrive this year, as it has been getting noticeably higher each day. The local fishermen tell me this rise in water has given the number of fish a boost from around 15% to now 25% of the normal rate. Today, I am out with 2 uncles, their friend and our neighbour, and we will be looking for a particular type of fish, red baby snakeheads. In Bangladesh, we call them gozar, and these young gozar fish stay in groups of several hundred and are often found swimming in the shallow waters of 3 to 5 feet. Catching these baby snakehead fish is extremely difficult and requires a lot of skill. A skilled fisherman can spot these groups of baby snakehead fish from a distance of up to 200 or 300 feet in ideal conditions. For catching these type of fish, the perfect conditions will be a clear sunny sky, 0 wind and no movement on the water surface. My uncle told me that he has been practicing this particular style of fishing for nearly 25 years. And I have been told by a large number of locals that my uncle is genuinely the best man for this job, not only in our village but in the 10 surrounding villages as well. He told me that my granddad, who is his dad, taught him how to fish. When I asked him earlier, he told me any other year he could expect to guarantee catch a lot of these baby snakeheads, averaging 10 to 12 kilograms in one go. His record day, he caught just over 40 kilograms in one day, and that was 3 years ago. And within 10 minutes, my uncle has spotted something moving on the water surface over 100 meters away. This year, he is not expecting as good results compared to other years due to the fact the floodwaters are so low, hence the amount of fish in the waters is low. I personally couldn't see anything in the distance, however my uncle says he saw the noticeable moving around of the heads of a group of baby fish on the water surface. In this situation, as soon as fishermen think they have spotted something, they will turn off the engine and row towards the movement slowly and quietly. If the group of fish detect any movement or noise in the water, they will swim away into deeper waters. These fish can only be caught in the shallow waters. Once we are around 100 feet away from the movement in the water, 2 men will silently lower themselves from the boat into the water like ninjas. We will be using a specific type of net for catching these baby snakehead fish. It measures around 12 feet long and 6 feet wide and is attached to 2 poles on the shorter sides. The reason it has to be so long is because when they will lower it into the water, they need the net to be loose enough, allowing plenty of space to trap the fish and contain them when raising it back out of the water. As mentioned before, it is difficult enough to spot these fish, let alone catch them. This type of fishing requires great skill. My uncle quietly lowers himself from the boat into the water. Meanwhile, our neighbour grabs the large net and passes it down to my uncle, trying to avoid creating any noise or movement in the process. Once this is done, he silently climbs out the boat into the water to join my uncle. Soon, a third man will lower himself into the water to pull the boat along as my uncle and neighbour slowly advance towards the movement of the group of baby fish by the bank. My uncle and neighbour will each be holding a pole which is attached to each side of the net. As they move slowly and get closer to the fish, they will spread out, allowing the net to open up. And once my uncle gives the signal, the other 2 men on the boat, who will also be slowly advancing towards the fish in the background, will jump off the boat into the water, making as much noise and splashing around to create movement and draw the fish towards the net. And assuming this is timed perfectly, once they raise the net, we should have caught hundreds of these red baby snakehead fish. Now let's watch these men in action and see how it is done.
Hey, bagla. Tulo. Dero pada dero ke dero. Umur korma itu lu phone falai lu lebe ba. Phone falai lai. Video karo kara ya. Ade wama je mi. Euro ঠিক আছে। সব কিছু তার হয় তো কিছু। কাম লাইন ঠিক আছে, এলা ফাইল দাও না থাকিয়া। আমরা আগে তো লেখা। ও, ইংরা লাগি না। আর দিতে পারো। ভিডিও দিয়ে খাইবা না। ভালো ঠিক আছে। আসলে লামাত লাগি।
A great result considering how low the floodwaters are and how little fish there are available to catch. My uncle covers the pot with a cloth to avoid letting any fish jump out or get loose. And without wasting any more time, we continue our hunt for more of these fish. Technically, our boat is now on a 10 square kilometre fish farm owned by someone wealthy. These fish farms are leased by the government, and these wealthy owners will keep caretakers on boats. This particular fish farm will have around 25 or 30 caretakers to ensure the local villagers do not fish on these lands. However, this caretaker recognises my uncle and happily advises us where we can find more of these baby snakehead fish. We don't seem to have had much more luck, and as we decide to head in, we see two young lads who have also been fishing on the waters and call them over. Millions of people in Bangladesh rely on catching fish to sell or feed their families, and one of my uncles is keen to see what these lads have caught, as he may be interested in buying them for his dinner tonight. They agree on a price of 120 takas, which converts to literally just over £1. Both parties are happy, and as the lads head back with their money, we decide to call it a day and head back to our compound. We are nearly home now, however everyone will be briefly coming back to our compound. This is so that everyone who was involved today in catching these fish can take a small share home and add it to their meals for the night. My uncle uses a metal cup to measure out the fish and gives each man who came today 2 cups in a bag. We will keep the remaining fish, and once my other uncle and neighbour have been given their fair share for today's involvement, we are all happy and everyone calls it a day and heads back to their own compounds.